What's up, Devious Army? We just finished the season 4. Oh my God, stay tuned. We're going to talk about it right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, AfterBuzzers? We're back for the season 4 finale of Devious Maids. And I'm really sad, but really excited to talk about it because it was a great finale. I'm Francesca. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at XOXOCESCA. Next to me is the lovely...
Hi guys, Candy Buen. You can find me on Insta, Snapchat, Twitter, Candy Buen.
And I'm Laila Sadny. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Laila Sadny. To my left.
Yes, we have one of our favorites in...
Unofficial guest host. I'm Curtis Kheel. I'm a writer and executive producer of Devious Maids, and you can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Curtis Kheel.
Yes.
And really quickly before we get started to the fans, y'all help us with the season 4. So if you want a season 5, tweet, write, do whatever you can because it's up to you if you want to see a season 5, right?
That is really important to tweet.
Yes.
The network does watch out for stuff like that. So the tweeting, if you haven't watched the show, watch it as soon as you can. Although I guess if you're listening to this, you probably can.
I know, I hope you're not spoiling
watch
it.
it again. Why not?
Watch it 3 or 4 times. Yeah. Hashtag jail Gail. Hashtag season
Gail.
5.
Jail Gail.
Did I say it wrong?
Jail Gail.
Jail Gail.
What did I say?
You did. You said
Oh, I
Jail
did.
Gail.
Okay, just hashtag
Jail Gail
everything.
sounds more correct.
Hashtag everything.
Hashtag.
Like Justin Timberlake, hashtag.
Yeah.
Hashtag. Anyways, so the episode tonight was titled
Grime and Punishment.
Grime and Punishment.
Get it?
Love it. Love it.
Dun, dun, dun. I loved all the episode titles that you guys do.
Yeah,
every
actually
season.
worked out. We were kind of, there was some concern that we wouldn't be enough cleaning puns to make it this season, but I actually thought it worked great. We probably should have been doing them all along.
Forever.
It's hilarious.
Forever. And next season, in season 5, we're just going to keep it going. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
I will tell you some of the rejected titles clearance would not let us use Gone with the Windex, which could have been a title. Because it's a product.
Windex.
Oh, because Windex.
And I also liked A Swiffer Runs Through It. But we're not allowed to use product names, so we are...
Darn brands.
I know. But Gone with the Windex would have been a great name for the end of this episode.
Would have.
Every time I use Windex now, I'm just
Gone with the Windex.
All right, so let's dive right into it. So, like other season finales, we have a wedding. Kind of. Not really. So...
We have the Powell House.
We have the powerhouse.
It's never a good thing to have a wedding on this show.
Ever.
It's like Game of Thrones.
Right. Did you tweet that? I think
I
saw you tweet that. So Adrian, he realized that to get Evelyn back, he has to make her jealous. And finally he found out, like, Gail just, like, makes her go crazy.
Her kryptonite.
Ugh. And you know what? Gail. Jeez, can't talk. Gail's just a biznotch anyways, so I think that's even like a double poke.
And she was
They're
a friend.
frenemies.
Exactly. Frenemies. And so Evelyn, that guttural like cry or whatever she did when she was talking with Marisol about, she's like, Marisol's like, oh, you got over Adrian? And she's like, oh, it was so good. And you realize, she's so jealous of this, and Marisol smacks some sense into her and says he's doing this on purpose.
Yeah.
And so she's like, game on, and she's trying to get Adrian to actually.
Chicken, we shall play.
Yes.
She was so good in this episode.
So good.
She's always great, but
I really love this storyline. This is probably my favorite storyline of the season, and it was actually the last one we came up with for this episode. Yes, Brian Tannen and I went into an office and we're like, okay, how are we gonna end this with the pals? And boom, 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 and we were like, and we laughed and we thought it was so funny of them trying to one up each other over their divorce.
Yes. So I actually I watch the show by myself because I have another show that I do, and I was just sitting there by myself laughing out loud, and I'm just like, I bet you anyone that's walking by thinks I'm crazy.
I know my mom called me on the way here and she's like, you're never gonna guess. And my mom told me, she's like, I can't tell you.
Oh, good. Thanks, Mom.
Spoilers.
Oh yeah, shout out to Candice's mom. She's so
Candice's
sweet.
mom, we love you. Thanks for being a great fan.
She's an amazing fan. She's always watching. So Evelyn and Adrian just like, go back and forth with this game of chicken, and she's like, well, if you are going to get engaged at my house, why don't we just make this a surprise wedding?
Yeah. They're like, so I think that's them though. The whole like back and forth, like I'm gonna one up you.
Cat and mouse. That's
Yeah,
what we've always said about them. They enjoy the game, and that's the thing that Reverend Hamilton didn't bring to Evelyn's relationship. She missed it.
Right before they kissed, it kind of reminded me of like Adam's family, like a Morticia, like and her husband moment. The more pain you cause, the more I'm attracted.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
That's them.
I didn't watch. What is that?
What
is the show you're quoting?
The Addams Family.
Yeah, Addams Family. I just want to watch it. Sorry, guys. Anyways. I thought it was funny how Adrian was totally like, yeah, you can have everything. I don't care. And Adrian and Evelyn's like, what's going on? He's literally letting me have everything.
Let go of the rope. Watch what happens.
And I think the funniest part, actually, I wrote it down, the lines. So, we see them, they've signed the divorce papers because they both went through with playing chicken. They literally went through it and signed the divorce papers, and the poor judge is like, okay, guys.
He's like, this is so weird.
Whatever the hell this is.
Awkward.
You guys are so happy for no reason. And they open that, 1938 bottle.
From the crash of the Hindenburg.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes, fancy. And you see that, like you said, they kiss. And then, after that wraps up, she says, why are the police here? And he goes, how long did we make love? And she's like, based on previous history, no longer than 11 minutes.
A lot happened in those 11 minutes.
A lot happened in 11 minutes.
Yes, well, I think that perhaps after maybe they cuddled for a little bit.
Yeah, maybe it was a little longer.
I love that moment. They're like, okay, so are we married? Are we not?
Yeah, that's the cliffhanger that's one of our cliffhangers was you have to, we'll wait and see. Have they gone their separate ways? Was this a final fling, or was this the thing that finally brought them back together?
Because in the wedding, Mr. Powell was there by himself, or maybe it's because she was with Marisol. But he kind of gave Zoila a little wink.
I will tell you, it was purposely left vague. As to, like, we had put Evelyn in the position of sort of, like, in this sort of mother the bride type role. So Adrian, naturally, whether they were together or not, would have been in the crowd separate.
That makes sense.
But if they were separated, divorced, they would also be separated.
Right.
So you don't know.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about, They have to be together.
I think that they're together.
So, also in the beginning of the episode, Carmen is talking with the girls, and they share about how they realize Hugh Metzger's this, like, serial rapist, and he does this to all these, up-and-coming people in Hollywood, or just young women in general.
Sound familiar? Anybody in the news, maybe? You would
Jello. I didn't do that great. But so she realizes that Daniela got the call back, and she calls Daniela, and Daniela, automatically thinks that Carmen's just like trying to sabotage her again. But she's not.
She's being a mother.
She's being a mom.
Yeah, you see that she actually, in this episode finally, like, it was really sweet to see between the two of them.
The mother-daughter moment was really cute.
And so we see Daniela call later, and she says something happened. So automatically, did you guys all assume, like, he tried?
Yeah.
He tried to. Instead, she was smart. She switched the drinks.
Yeah. Well, in the last episode, like, when she, like, they don't show what happens, but they show her going to his office alone, and then when he's like, oh, it's private or whatever. And I think, like, I was, like, screaming, like, talking to the TV. I'm like, don't drink anything.
Right?
Like, just leave the drinks alone.
And that's, like, a true lesson to anyone out there. Don't drink anything from...
Don't go on an audition and have some wine.
Don't go on audition at night. There's no audition at 9 o'clock
When a callback is at night...
She is just off the turnip truck, though. Like, basically, like, she just arrived at the town, so...
There's a lot of people that learned. There's a lot of people that have learned the hard way.
They would think that this is my big break. Hugh Metzger, the famous director, wants to meet with me at 8 o'clock at night. Nice o'clock.
Invites me to his home.
He plays on that. Ugh.
And he tried to... I'm sure this happens, unfortunately, but he tried to, like, kind of guilt her, and he's like, have a glass of wine, you do want this part, right? So she was kind of like, but it's a good thing that Carmen called and was able to talk some sense into her. And so she gives him the bad glass.
The drugged glass.
The drug glass, and now he's out.
Yeah, and then he's out. And then
you don't mess with Mama Bear.
Yeah, no. I like that. I liked a lot of the scene with, like, the three of them with him tied up and them, like, trying to get it out of him.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was hilarious. Like, we're maids.
Slap.
Who was it? I think Dava tweeted, that needs to be a shirt. Who are you? We're maids.
Yeah.
We're not messing around. That should be our slogan going forward.
I mean, they had what was the spray? It was
oven cleaner.
Oven cleaner, right?
We talked about what kinds of cleaning products they could conceivably use to torture him.
What other stuff?
I don't know. Windex. See, there you go.
Windex.
Bleach would be a good one.
Bleach. That's another one. So we laid it on the oven cleaner, and then they had tied him up with electrical cord.
I like it.
Yeah. Was it connected to the vacuum? That would have been funny.
There's all different things we could have come up with, but we just like the idea of them sort of going past the law and doing, whatever they could do to get the information out of them, because they're not cops, so like, what are they going to do? So it was a fun scene.
How he had a heart attack. I think that's probably because it was like his worst possible nightmare that 3 like beautiful women were like the ones in power, and he was the one tied up. It wasn't the other way around.
That one, plus he just at that moment had realized who killed Perry, so it was a combined thing. And he's old. Sorry, old people.
Sorry, old people.
And I always did wonder how Gail had her money, because she was single and she didn't work.
I just thought she was like divorced or something.
She was divorced because she's Gail Metzger Fleming. So Metzger was her maiden name, and Fleming was her married name. And when she first came on the show, she talked about her ex-husband, I think. So,
did we ever hear her name in past seasons, like the Metzger? No, it was just always Fleming. Okay.
We intentionally kept the piece of information from you guys that she was his daughter, because we figured if we told you that, you'd pretty much figure it out.
Yeah.
So it was held to the very end.
Because, you've seen us. We've all been thinking it was Hugh or it was Peter and all this stuff. And
I hear Khalil saying, it's still Peter!
I know, right?
It still could be Peter!
Peter did something with Marisol, right?
Peter told Gail to do it.
Yeah, he got Marisol killed.
Maybe, yeah. Peter had Marisol kidnapped. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, Khalil.
when he was
That's
tied
what you get
up,
for not showing up.
Right, exactly. That's what you get for having fun in Chicago without us. But when he was tied up and he's like, oh God, she did it. Who did you guys think it was?
Well, I mean, at first, obviously, you want to think it's Kyle's mother.
Frances?
Yeah. But I mean, that's too obvious. Yeah. So I don't know. I just kind of was like, I have no idea.
Well, we didn't point to a lot of women during the season. It was mostly you were targeted to think that the rapist was probably the killer.
Right.
But we're all, and we've gotten better and better about this over the years, but we, the people that we point to, as I said to you guys as you were watching it, was like, those are not usually the people. This is the secret. If we get a season 5, whoever we're pointing to is not usually the person.
And so next season you're going to make it so...
Well, this one was hard too,
really
I will
obvious.
say. I mean, did you guys find it, I'll ask a question to you, did you find it satisfying, or did you find it a little too out there? I mean, we didn't tip it at all before this.
So I had I was telling not Candice, sorry, Laila, that I kind of had a hint right before he said it, because I was thinking who else is in this episode? And I was like, it can't be Frances, that's too obvious. And then I thought about Gail, and I'm like, you know what, we really don't know anything about her. So like for a split second, I thought about it, but I was actually like, I think it was it wasn't too far-fetched. It was just, like, right out of your reach. It was, perfect.
Because we wanted you to be surprised. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, even last year there were people online who guessed Sebastian because there were enough clues going along. So, but this time, nobody... So I did see someone really early on, there was a line in the second episode about, like, something, she was designing something and Evelyn accused her of, like, it looked like prison stripes or something. And somebody was like, maybe that means she's the killer. And we were like, I was like,
crap.
We didn't...
No! Delete!
Nobody ever thought that line related was foreshadowing, but maybe it was in our subconscious and we didn't think about it.
There was actually an article earlier, and it was, like, the top 5 people, and one of the fans thought it could be Eva Longoria because of the first episode.
I would have loved if it was Eva
That would have been
Longoria.
hilarious.
I would have loved that, but no, we decided not to do that. It would have been great.
Earlier on, I was thinking maybe, but I think you were pretty adamant, and we talked to Eva at the premiere that she was only on for one show. So
right, and she would have had, as you know, the show, you got to confront the killer and get them the story, usually in the Pal study. In fact, always in the Pal study.
Yeah, pretty much.
And she would have had to have been in this episode for us to use her again. So.
Yeah. But no,
I think more people guessed Eva Longoria online than they did Gail.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking it was like Perry's sister for a minute, but she, obviously
that was another one, but she wasn't in this episode either.
Unless they had different fathers or something.
Yeah,
or
maybe
I don't know.
that ran through my mind too. But literally, there's only it was just really Shannon, Gail, Frances, and then Fiona. But Fiona has been. We did think it might have been her, right? Because we knew she existed, but we didn't really know when she was coming. But she's just a mean Aussie or a mean Brit. One of the.
She's Australian, or the actress is.
Okay, mean Aussie. Yeah, I don't know, but that's crazy because we've seen Gail in previous seasons.
Yeah,
and we've always played her as the worst person in the world. They've said that a bunch of times.
Right.
So she crossed a line into murder.
Did you guys kind of have that thought
from the beginning of the season?
Okay.
Not last year.
Not last year.
I will be honest, we did not think Gail was a killer last year, but from the beginning of the season, we knew from the get-go. And in fact, you look at the very early episode, especially one, there's not a whole lot of reason for Gail to be in the show other than we wanted to place her as being in the world. So she just has one scene with Evelyn in the first episode. Evelyn could have probably been talking to anybody, but we were like, well, we want to put Gail in the show so that she builds. And then we found a great use for her, which we didn't even plan on, which we found as we went along with the idea of her getting engaged, going after Mr. Powell and getting engaged, which made it seem like that was the story for Gail.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true, because now that I think back into the first episode, I was like, oh, we saw her at the premiere as well. We're like, oh, she's still here, because last season it was because we needed to find body parts in her yard.
Yeah.
You
I was
know?
kind of wondering why she was still around too. Like, I was like, what's her point? Like, what's her purpose? You know?
Slick.
Yeah, no, I mean, and we love Julie Claire. We think she's great, and we actually didn't really want to burn her as the killer, but we needed it to be somebody. And there's so many great people on this show, so. But I don't know. In my world, maybe, who knows what happened to Gail? Jail Gail. Did the charges stick? Did she get out of prison? Do we we did a whole storyline this year about being in prison. Did she?
Oh gosh, I
cannot. Do we go see her there? Who knows?
Imagine her in prison.
Or she pleads temporary insanity and they let her out.
Yeah, we'll see what happens if we get a season 5.
Right?
Oh, what happened to the poor stripper? Did she get killed?
No, yeah. What's up with that?
We did not cover the fate of Cinnamon. She is either paid off and dancing in Nebraska, or she's dancing at the big strip pole in the sky. I think
Ben after.
Yeah, given Ben, I think probably the latter. But it's left to your cliffhanger. Where's Cinnamon?
Find Cinnamon.
How people would be attached to Cinnamon.
Cinnamon, where is she?
Hashtag find Cinnamon.
Season 5.
I know, right?
We did talk about at one point maybe we would bring her back and she would be like she would be in like a very professional position as a member of the cult, and like you would and Rosie would come in and be like, wait a second, it's Cinnamon the stripper. But we didn't, we only had 10 episodes, couldn't get all the way to stuff.
There's a lot.
Maybe she'll be back to spice it up.
Maybe
bring because drama for Spence. So Spence been in jail this whole episode, the whole season, whole episode. And when we had Grant here last episode, we were saying like, are you gonna escape? Are you gonna? Because it's like he's between a rock and a hard place because he doesn't want to keep causing Rosie all this pain.
Yeah,
but.
I was thinking, he's gonna escape because as a Rosie, he wants her to stop.
He wants her to stop, but then he's gonna get punished for leaving. But I'm actually happy how it turned out. So he escapes and he goes and hides in the Frances and Kyle's old house. I'm kind of bummed we didn't get to see them actually. In the end, they just left on the merry way.
They took off. They're forming the circle somewhere else.
They
had to leave.
I knew Kyle was gonna help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Stupid Fiona throwing away the mail. Good thing that she's a maid and Zoila takes out the trash. Go figure, right? But yeah, so she gets that. But the flash drive. But Fiona realizes she saw someone in the window and she thinks it was Kyle, but it was really Spence. And Rosie didn't even know that he was escaping. We see the police like just bust in on the house, and I'm happy that she didn't go trying to find him or he didn't contact her immediately.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
All bad.
Yeah, that would have just ruined the whole thing.
Yeah, so actually Spence and Rosie were apart for almost into the entire episode until the last act.
Yeah, except for their little conjugal visits.
Well, not during the season, but this episode they were completely apart because she couldn't.
Episode. Yeah.
To the end.
To the very end.
I mean, but that was very smart on Zoila's part too, and Rosie, like, he Killface took him and he held him hostage. She's like, they're quick on that.
Yeah.
And
They're devious maids.
Yeah.
They got to be devious on their feet.
I like that the head detective, and Rosie kind of
tag team.
Finally, I'm like, they're gonna recruit her to work for the police. Watch.
That's what I was thinking too. I mean, we've been hashtagging
she should be a detective.
Detective Rosie all season.
I really wanted Rosie to turn into detective at one point and go like, I'm on my 4th murder. How many of you trying to solve?
I think she would be such a good detective because like Gail said, like, you're just a dumb, stupid little maid. Like, who's gonna ever believe you? Like, she could go in undercover all the time.
She plays it up though, and that's how she gets her information.
She's like, oh, but I'm just a dumb maid, right? You're getting arrested. Bah. But yeah, so Spence is hiding out in the attic with Killface, and then Zoila comes to tell them that Fiona recognized him from the TV, and Killface is just crazy because he's like, I don't want to be in jail.
So he thinks that she thinks Zoila told him. Yeah,
right.
so he was gonna shoot her.
I was like, oh no, come on. Everyone picks on Zoila. No shooting Zoila.
Poor Zoila.
Let's pile on to Spence.
Yeah.
He hasn't been through enough.
Because he hasn't been through enough either, the two of them.
But now he and Rosie have good matching gunshot wounds.
They have scars, matching scars.
That's love.
Isn't it great?
And okay, so in the scene when he comes back, I'm kind of skipping ahead, when he comes back home and they're all together as a family, I like that, I mean, we think that she was going to tell him that Tucker wasn't his real son. And she's pregnant, we find out.
She's preggers from
Which
those
is awesome.
conjugal
So finally
visits.
he's going to have a biological child.
Now, do you think he thinks that, does he know that that's not his son?
I don't think
yet.
so.
No?
He does not
I don't
know.
Okay.
Rosie has held that secret. That could come back in the future. That he finds out, and she has held this from him. Maybe.
I know.
It's out there.
I was not expecting the pregnancy thing, though.
That's why we hit it. We hit it well, because I've been on shows where you start to you have to sort of tee it of somebody faints or or has morning sickness or whatever, and then the audience is like, nah, she's pregnant.
Right.
And this one, you thought that we wrote it so that it looked like she was about to tell him that with the information about about Tucker not being his son. So you should have been surprised.
I was surprised.
And then really surprised when we jumped a year and you didn't see her pregnant at all.
Because I literally was thinking, how are they going to do this with her pregnant next season?
Fastest pregnancy in
She
TV
had the
history.
baby. And she's back to normal size.
Back to normal.
She gets out of wearing the pregnancy pads.
Darn.
She can talk to Judy Reyes about that. Having
that's right.
Zoila wore the
yeah.
padding all season last year.
I don't think anyone would want to see Rosie wearing pregnancy.
That should be cute.
I know she would be
funny.
She would be
Yeah.
cute, but
Imagine her detective pregnant Rosie.
Yeah.
Right?
eating donuts.
Can she get her own spin-off?
Detective Rosie.
Detective pregnant Rosie.
If it gets us a pickup, great. I love it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Now, wait,
ahead.
what do you guys think she had, a boy or a girl? Because they didn't say.
Hopefully a girl.
Did you not it's probably going to be a boy again, no?
It is either a boy or a girl.
Twins?
One or the
Twins.
other.
Dang.
It was not twins because she said the baby.
Oh,
I
that's
think.
true.
So it's a boy or a girl. You'll have to find out in season 5. Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger, another cliffhanger to add to the list.
But wait, the baby made it, unlike Zoila's. So there you go.
Good.
We circled back around. We lost a baby early. We had a baby at the end.
It makes sense for Rosie to have a baby, though, because she has the 2 younger kids. You know, Zoila, Valentina's all older and grown up, and
We thought it was sort of a dramatic reward for all that they've been through that they then have a kid.
because they just poor Spence, couldn't catch a break, and
Right.
like you said, they have matching gunshot wounds now, and so that was a nice little gift.
Yeah.
Gift from the.
But don't worry, if we get a season 5, I'm sure we'll pile on to him some more. So don't worry. Don't worry, we'll come up with something new. Grant was here last week, so we'll warn him.
Did he tweet tonight? We were on him about.
I don't know.
Tweeting.
He was at a live tweet party, and
Okay,
he
he
was
better
there,
have.
but I don't know. I didn't see a phone in his hands.
I'm gonna look right now to see if Grant was tweeting. What'd you guys think about what happened with Marisol and Peter?
I think Genevieve is my favorite, of course, and of course, she went, and I thought she was gonna tell Peter what had happened to her, but she took the higher
Yeah.
road and said, no, you need to go with Marisol, don't make this mistake twice.
I was really
She's
happy.
really grown a lot.
We really felt like Genevieve needed. I mean, she kind of took this awful act that earlier, 3 or 3 episodes ago when she went to Peter and was like, yeah, Marisol's sleeping with Jesse. And we felt like she kind of needed to earn it back with the audience. And, you know, and there is truth to their time had passed. Like, it was, you know, even though there was a sort of, the relationship ended on a misunderstanding, basically, over what happened to Genevieve. It had passed. The time was over, and Genevieve realized that. And besides, she was interested in someone else.
Yeah.
She's on to the ladies.
The ladies.
That was hilarious. That she goes to have therapy and a new therapist, and she gets bubblies while she's waiting, and the lady talks to her and, you know, talking about relationships and stuff. She's like, that's why I date women. And I'm like, oh, Genevieve. Here it goes.
Right, it's just like Genevieve to just be like, that's the problem. That's been it all along.
Men, damn you men.
That's what it is.
I don't need that therapy session anymore. I think what sold her on the idea of dating Lori, I think her name was, right, is that they could share the same closet.
Yeah.
Yes, all the perks of living with a woman, and so now Genevieve is in search of a wife, whether it be Lori or someone else. We'll see what happens.
I love how Zoila at the end, she's like, I'm not saying anything. It's your
like,
life. Just,
I'm glad that she's back though.
yeah.
Yes.
They're back together. They made up.
She had the key ready for her.
Oh, that's cute.
We had to put them back together.
Yeah.
Come on, those
I
two,
know.
they
They're meant
belong
to be.
together.
Totally.
So that means Rosie.
But it'll be a different. I mean, like, you know, what we've kind of set up, and you know, and all of this is like I told you guys at the beginning of this season. Is like I got to the end of last season, and you talked to me, and I would have told you everything different from what we ended up doing. Like I just when we sit and talk about it, new things come up. But the idea that we've set up that is they realize that getting in each other's lives is a big mistake, and now Genevieve has gone and done the craziest thing ever of like deciding to start dating women and go in search of a wife, and Zoila has to sit there and sort of like try with every fiber of her being not to get involved. So you can imagine where that might go.
Yeah. She's like, but you like men too much. Like, how is that going to work?
That's going to be fun to play with next season for sure.
Yeah.
I like, Lori seems like fun though.
Yeah, isn't Shannon Lawrence great? We
Yeah.
loved her. She's a great actress. Mm-hmm. Maybe some good chemistry there. We'll see.
We'll see. And so what's going to happen with Rosie then? Is she gonna be a stay-at-home mom now, or is she gonna go to another house?
You know, all based on not having put any discussion into season 5. I always think that Rosie would not be happy not being a maid. I think that she enjoys being maid. I mean, maybe if she got a chance to be a detective, but that's not our show. But
Detective.
I feels like Rosie's a character who enjoys helping people, but that might cause conflict for her and Spence. If, like, you know, we haven't discussed what's the money situation like now. So it's like, do they have money? Do they not have money?
I know, right? Because Spence, you know, he's at the bottom of a barrel. He just got out of prison. Well, but you know, they're gonna clear his name.
But Perry's money was left to Tucker, so in trust. But guess who was watching over it? Shannon. So did she do a good job? Did she not do a good job? We don't know.
Bounced.
We haven't decided yet.
She bounced.
Yeah.
So are they living in that nice house going forward? I don't know. Season 5 questions.
So many
I could
questions.
see
for somebody
Zoila
else.
next season, like, just having, like, hot models or, like, maids just coming around the house just to, like, tease Genevieve.
Shove Jackie come over.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Extra training session.
Trying to get her
Yeah.
to
Like
you
men.
know, snap back to being interested in men. Oh, I like that. That's interesting. Well, and then be like, I don't know what you're doing. I know. I know Jesse.
Yeah.
She likes Jesse. She's
Oh yeah, Jesse.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Jesse, really fast, when he showed Rosie the list, I don't know if you guys did this, but I like, because we watch it, it's already pre-recorded. I stopped it and I like scanned to see if I could see any other people's names on it other than Hugh Metzger. I don't think there was anyone else's. That we
I didn't
would
look at
know,
the list
right?
too hard.
Oh, okay.
I thought
You didn't
maybe
see that.
sometimes they put production people in, or I don't think my name was on the list, but
A little shout out.
I wasn't at Perry's party. I'm
No.
sorry.
And
Just read about it.
And that he had to put happy faces on the people that didn't bring gifts, so she would know to publicly shame them.
It's very
Shannon's
Perry.
I mean, you're Perry.
Yeah.
Perry is
Perry and
Perry
Shannon.
right to the end.
All the
Complaining
way.
about girls in wheelchairs.
But she actually like had a good side to
Yeah.
her because she was trying to do the right thing and help out.
Yes, but also he had done it to her too. So
That's true.
it was
She never could say anything before. Now she's like, now's
Right.
my chance.
She only didn't come forward before because she thought it was just to her. But then when she learned, I guess that's the altruistic part. When she learned it was others, that there were more. Mm-hmm. Well, we thought that was interesting because of the notable personality in the news. That a lot of the women didn't know that they all thought that they were alone, and we thought that was an interesting aspect.
I think I think that happens with a lot of trauma. People just feel like they're alone. But yeah, so we see what actually went down that night. That was fun to finally see how that played out. So we see Hugh with his pants down because he just drugged some lady. And like you said, Perry realizes that she's not the only one. And then for a second, you know, we see Ben like, what are you doing? And for a split second, I thought Ben, again, had been the killer.
Yeah.
Because we find out through Hugh, he's funding the circle because they're blackmailing him. So Ben is part of the circle, and I thought he was going to kill Perry, even though he was involved with her, because otherwise they wouldn't keep getting their funding. So that was a good little, like, to keep us...
made people think that he killed. Because a lot of people thought he was a killer
the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of our first early suspects of, like, of course, like, look at that guy. He seems evil. Like, so...
Little looks.
And he was. He probably killed Cinnamon, as we discussed.
Yeah.
But just
Cinnamon.
the difference between killing Perry and it was, you know, what was important.
Yeah, especially when Perry got killed, her face. She was
I
like,
thought
you used my, like, how dare you kill me with my award?
Isn't that a
It's like
great
all
look
over
that
her
she
face.
gave?
Yeah.
Everybody really enjoyed that look. We've seen that a bunch of times in the cuts, and it was a great performance.
I was thinking that was so like horror film like scene. Like I loved it, which you know, like total like horror film. Like it was great.
Perry getting killed with, you know,
Her own
her own award. Trophy, exactly.
Which is a good fate for Perry. It really was. If you gotta kill Perry, death by her own award seems like a good one.
What did Gail say? I should get a medal?
Yeah.
They should put a medal on me.
Oh, yeah.
Perry was an awful person.
Yeah, she literally had
She's one to talk.
no remorse whatsoever. Like, she does such a good job of playing that just, like, bad to the bone.
The like bitch character.
Bitch character, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you guys think that Gail was being set up in the room?
But she's being, that was either being recorded or something.
She said, "Why is Rosie telling you?"
I said
like, why is she telling him all
why is
this?
she
And I was like,
telling
hold on just a second.
I had to get ahead of myself.
I didn't think she was going to be wired. I thought the police were going to be, like, hiding behind the bar or something like that.
I thought they gave her something to drink, maybe.
I thought so too.
I did think that too for a split second. Like, they
like
drugged
Spence?
her.
How they drugged him?
Oh, like gave her like a truth serum.
Yeah, because, you know, Carmen gave her the drink.
Yeah, she said drink
That
this.
would have been good too.
Yeah.
I thought they were drugging
I don't
him.
think we even thought of that one. We had to bring back the drug from episodes ago.
The drug. And then I think the only thing that we've missed is that Marisol. So Marisol and Peter.
So Marisol and Peter
made up because, you know, like we said, Genevieve went to talk to Peter, and he and Marisol talk again at the party, and he tells her, "I was planning to propose to you," and all this, and then he does because hey, it's an engagement party, and no one's obviously getting engaged now, so
I feel like because they got engaged at the Powell house, it's like a curse.
Doomed.
that Powell house.
He should have known better. Or Marisol should have like, no, let's go somewhere else.
Let's step off the property. It's like
Why? Just
Let's
trust me.
step off the property, and then you can get on
A
one
leg
knee.
was found over there. What maid was murdered in here. This is not where I want to get proposed to.
And then my brain the wheels are spinning because Marisol has so many enemies over the season. So who would want to kidnap her?
Who do you think?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people that she pissed off.
I don't know. So yeah, we see a
There's
year
that,
later.
and there's also it's been a year. So what happened in the year?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But we really think of that last little sequence starting with 1 year later as the first scene of season 5. So it's definitely setting up a new mystery that hopefully we'll get to tell.
Another wedding.
In the very first season, when she went undercover to like get her son free, who ended? I forgot who ended up being the actual killer.
Philippe.
So maybe it's like someone from back then.
Philippe who died.
Oh,
So
Maybe Philippe's.
I don't know.
Ex-wife.
Now I'm starting to already think like I'm like.
Who knows? Frances is back. I don't know.
Oh.
But yeah, we see it's a year later, and you know, she's supposed to be walking down the aisle, and she disappears, and we see the broken glass and the blood.
And the note.
And the note.
Now, did you guys think she had cold feet?
That thought ran through my
heard-
mind. So
But
maybe,
no, because she was so in love with Peter. So, look, but you don't. But then again, it was a year, so you don't know what happened.
know.
Maybe something happened in their relationship.
I don't know. Should
I
we,
don't know.
should, hey, Curtis, focus. Should we
I was
get
like
to
looking to see if anybody else behind me knew the answer. I can't tell you what we've talked about. We've set up a story here. We'll see if we get to tell it.
Before we get into predictions, can you tell us any other possible people you guys were planning on having it be, or it was Gail from the beginning for you guys?
Oh no, it was always Gail.
Yeah.
It was
Okay. Always. We never thought of anybody else who it was going to be. We threw shade on a lot of people, but no, it was always actually in the same meeting where we came up with Perry gets murdered, Spence goes to jail. The answer was Gail. We also had not done a female killer yet.
Yeah, that's right.
Because the past 3 seasons, they all turned out to be men, so we thought it'd be interesting to do a woman this time. And we thought it was good, rather than introduce a brand new character, that you would sort of throw all the characters who are new this year, you throw suspicion on. We use somebody that we had used in the past.
Good.
I
This
have
seemed to
a
have made sense to
question
us.
for you girls. Who, out of all the seasons, who would you like to have them bring back for season 5? I would like to see who Carmen's baby daddy is. He's a new character. I would like to see who gets cast for that.
We left that.
Well,
you guys left that hanging
We
too.
did.
Okay.
Here is, I think I mentioned this maybe in the early, when I first came on here this seasons. There were a couple things that got a little short-circuited toward the end. And the bringing in the baby daddy was in for, like, we thought it'd be like a 3-episode arc. And then we suddenly got to episode 8, 9. And we were like, we don't have room for this. Like, we just don't have time. And we're going to have to, like, bring him in for, like, an episode and get rid of him again. And so we came up with the idea that she lies to Carmen about him being dead. So that basically put a pin in that story until next season. But yes, and now maybe we can tell a bigger story with him than we would have had time to tell. But it was always on the table, and we had actually talked, like, we thought he was going to come in the end of the season, and we just didn't have time.
Didn't have time.
That was one of the things that got a little short-circuited there.
What happened to Odessa?
Who was Odessa?
Odessa just went off.
She went off
After Alejandro was
yeah.
killed,
Odessa.
and we have talked that she has
Forgot about her.
She's come up a couple times. I can think of 2 different ways that we thought about bringing her back. We thought about making her maybe the maid that Naya Rivera was in season 3. And that when Naya was killed, they'd find, like, her leg thrown away.
Oh, gosh.
And then we just decided to do
Odessa.
someone brand new instead. But and then there was another version I can think of. So Odessa has always been on the table of, like, if we find the right story, we might bring her back.
Who else?
Valentina?
Did you guys like Fabian this year?
Fabian. I almost forgot about him.
Oh, yes.
He was a character
He was
that
cool.
he could come back, or Killface, another one.
Killface.
Killface is awesome.
He's
Do
going
you
to
think
jail.
Killface is redeemable for shooting Spence?
I think he got stressed out.
It was an accident.
It was an
I don't think he directly.
They
were like fighting over
I like
the gun.
Killface.
Yeah.
I think he I feel like he's gonna go off and be a trucker, and then in next season he'll just stop by town and say hi to some guys on his way,
So you don't think he's gonna get caught?
He's gone.
He's on the run.
He's on the run.
I don't know.
Maybe
If you
he
can
might.
imagine Remy coming home next season and seeing his mom's new girlfriend,
Right.
just
Yeah.
shaking his head.
I want him
There's
to come back.
Remy and Valentina. Before we get done, we would like to return to Remy and Valentina.
I would like to see them.
Yeah.
See what's going on with them.
Yeah. And I hope
Although I
they
think
keep Daniela.
Drew is on a new show. I think he's on Training Day on CBS. So,
Oh.
Read
so
an
now it
article.
becomes like an issue of, like, deals and logistics and all of that. But we'll see what happens. We do want to bring them back. We know people want to see them, and we'll come up with a story.
Wait, really fast.
We actually did think about bringing them back at the very end of the season. We were going to use them to reunite Genevieve and Zoila. And again, it was just like we had too much, and they were going to be completely sidelined, and we were just like, we can't do it this year. So
this is off this subject slightly, but so we know that Genevieve was raped by Hugh Metzger. Is that Remy's dad?
no.
Okay.
Remy's dad is
Okay.
Philippe.
Okay.
Because in the sequence, it would have been Peter was the 3rd husband. Philippe was husband, I want to say 2, maybe. So it would have, Remy would have already been born by
too
that.
young,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure that was
Okay.
the sequence.
I didn't think
Just
so, but I just
Lady
wanted
Junkie will get me on that if I'm not right about it.
Like how
But-
many women has he raped that he has children with that aren't like
creepy.
Then Tucker and him, Remy would be brothers.
Yeah, they would have been. That's creepy. I wanted to say too that I think that American Horror Story should do an episode on the Powell House.
God.
The next season.
That would be
American Story
amazing.
from Horror Story.
Powerhouse. That would be amazing. And they would be so great too, to see
That'd be-
American Horror Story style.
Blend that.
Yeah, but she was actually on the very first season, I believe, Rebecca Wasaki.
on
American Horror
American
Story?
Horror Story, the very first
I
season.
don't remember. That's so long ago.
I don't think they had no murders at the Pal House this year, right? Did I miss?
Not any murder.
No murders.
Maybe it's been cleansed now that they've rebuilt it.
Maybe.
Nah.
Nah,
We'll still find it funny to put a murder there.
You mean it's like you have to for old time's sake, you know?
Someone's got to die in that house.
Someone. All right, let's get into some predictions for our season 5.
Or ideas for the writers.
I know, right? Listen closely, guys.
This sounds good.
Okay, someone else start. I want to hear.
I can definitely see Zoila and Genevieve butting heads, but also I could try to see her trying to steer her back to like wanting men. So luring, just having like maybe like males come to the house or going like places where there's attractive men, or actually maybe getting her a membership with Jesse again. So just trying to
Trainer
tempt her.
session.
Yes.
I feel like I actually kind of would like to see, like, it would be fun to see her actually have, like, a long-lasting relationship with Lori. And I'm
With
just
the women?
hoping that Lori isn't going to turn out to be someone evil next season. That's what I'm hoping.
It's always a possibility.
Side eyes to all you
On
guys.
Devious Maids, when you're someone like Reverend Hamilton, and where you turn out to be good, that's the big twist.
I know. I'm just so
What is
mad.
he doing? I don't know. I'd like to see Carmen and her ex that she has Daniela
yes,
with,
that'd
like
be nice.
come back and like rekindle their relationship, and then Daniela and all them being a family.
I know, but then
Yes.
that's not the show.
I know, but it's something. But he could have something.
Happy.
But he could have something like evil about him.
But not with, I mean, because all these seasons, it's just been Carmen. I am Carmen Luna. And she's like, you know, on her path to stardom. But Daniela really knocked her into reality that, you know, I don't want to say reality because it could still happen. But that's probably not going to
People
happen.
get
So that
breaks.
would be nice for her to have like a little family element,
Yeah,
you know?
something else has got to happen though.
Or Danny can get pregnant and she'll be a grandmother and just freak
Oh
out.
my God.
Danny and
Could you
Jesse.
imagine?
Carmen will. Yeah.
Lose it.
She would,
That would be funny just to watch the whole like.
I like that idea.
that would be great.
It'd be like Zoila would be like teasing her about being a grandma or something.
That would be so good, actually.
Abuela.
Could you imagine her
God.
Like time to get the senior special or
Yeah.
something like.
I can see Zoila like digging into her.
Finally, because Carmen's always making digs at everyone else,
Yeah.
so that would be just like, that would be really good.
She'd be the grandma.
We can be on
else?
the writing panel.
Hey,
next
you guys,
year.
these are great ideas. I'm going to take them and claim that I came up with them. Nobody has a tape of this, right?
What? No.
No.
Millions of people
Broadcast
never
it.
saw this. I'm going to obviously go ahead and say I hope we keep Jesse around. Obviously.
He's the first male maid that's made it 2
Yeah.
seasons.
Well, and now he wants to be he's going to be a personal trainer.
Yeah.
So
Beverly Hills always needs
actually, personal
trainers.
trainer is a good job for him because we know that we can float him between different houses, so that might become useful in different stories.
And we know he's a little gossip queen. So,
Right.
He's like a little girl, a little bit. Likes to talk.
so that would,
I didn't say that
Spill the
shit,
beans.
okay?
so that would help. That would help to like drama.
Oh, he could be like a little
He could be
gossiper.
like the new Gale.
Oh, you saw what happened to the old Gale. You sure about that?
I'd like to see
I don't know.
Gail.
2 seasons of Jesse being all good. I don't know.
He
gonna
just
happen.
snaps or something. The post what he had the PS post traumatic.
Oh,
Oh yeah, that's right.
PTSD.
Next
It turns out he did
the
have
military.
it.
Yeah, he just like
I'd like to see Gail in prison, like scenes with her in prison.
yeah, that'd be.
She'd probably like it. Just her character is so evil.
She'd
She's
Yeah,
like
Gail.
queen of the prison.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Buying off
Gail.
people.
She'd be getting like stuff smuggled in and like all kinds of crazy stuff.
What if, like,
Her and Killface end up
that's
together.
what I was gonna say.
I don't think
keep
there's
them
a co-ed prison.
Suddenly there's a co-ed prison.
No,
Yes,
I was thinking that. I was like, Killface going back to jail, and I'm like, in my head when we were talking about it, I'm like, I'd love to see scenes of them in prison together. It'd be hilarious. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, it's like men and
Men and
women.
women,
So
yeah.
it's not gonna happen.
Well, maybe on Devious Maids we'll bend the truth on that one. Are you guys going to come down on us if we do that?
Maybe it'll be
You guys
like
will be
a-
that doesn't happen.
a male,
I've
a
seen
woman in
shows.
male prison, like, have these,
Luncheon?
like, yeah, these, like, special get-togethers.
I've seen shows where they have the male and women prison and they kind of like come
Close
together.
by?
Yeah.
Prison mixers.
Yeah.
I mean, people in jail gotta have fun too, right?
I think they purposely keep them separate for a reason.
Yeah.
So
Have a lot of jail babies.
I do think Spence is not going to be happy with Rosie next season when he does find out that's not his kid and she had the chance
she
to
knew.
tell him. Because
Or maybe I'll never find out.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna come out eventually.
Well, Devious Maids is gonna go on for like 18 seasons. So
Yeah.
when Tucker turns 18, he's gonna be like, wait a minute, I don't look like my dad, right?
I think the funny part is that kid really does look a lot like Grant. When we cast him, I was like, he looks a lot like Grant. Are we sure? Because we knew what the story was.
Yeah.
I was like, which
He's
is
like
fine.
the cutest
He was
kid
very
ever.
good.
Do you think that Marisol had cold feet and staged her kidnapping?
No.
Or she actually got kidnapped?
She
So she got kidnapped.
Who could it be?
The cartel.
The cartel's back?
Yeah, the cartel.
Forgot about the cartel.
I just don't see it's not in her like personality or character. I think if she would have had cold feet, her personality would be like to talk to Peter. Well, also a year has gone by, so
we don't know what
maybe
happened.
something happened in their relationship. So you just never know. with
Someone,
this
well,
show.
Peter's the head of a studio, so it's probably someone like involved with something with the movie studio or something that.
Mine said,
Metzger.
need some paper.
Revenge.
Right, yeah, because whatever happened to Hugh
Person
Metzger.
involved with studio.
Oh, maybe Gail has a twin.
Gail has a twin.
Stop.
We haven't done identical twin yet. That is out there. I think we could do it once. Once
We'll know,
we could do
though.
it.
You have to sideswipe
But I don't
us.
know. I'm not going to tell you who would the identical twin
Or
would be.
you could bring back somebody that died as their twin.
Well, because Marisol did set up Gail like with all of them, so
That's in the soap wheelhouse. We could do that at some point, but I don't know when.
so many good.
I know. I don't know.
So for season 5, what are we telling everyone to do, Francesca? They gotta tweet.
You gotta hashtag. You gotta tweet season 5.
Devious Maids season 5, and I will tell you all that Lifetime and their executives were very encouraging on us to create a big cliffhanger. So if you want to see a resolution to that cliffhanger, I suggest you tweet them and tell them how upset you would be if the show got canceled and you didn't get a resolution to the cliffhanger. We heard that last year. They did note that the big explosion and all of that was not a good ending to the show. So
Yeah, you can't leave us hanging. We have to know. That's like the ultimate worst when the show just ends. We have to know Lifetime. We have to have a Devious Maids.
So tweet Lifetime, go on Twitter and find them, and I think that's probably the best thing everyone can do at this point is, tweet. When you hear this, tweet every day. We will likely hear again, the deadline is the end of September, so we're likely going to hear whether we're getting a season 5 or not somewhere mid to end of September. That is probably the way it's going to go.
And I looked, Grant didn't tweet tonight, so you guys tweet Grant too.
He was
tell him
there
needs
at the
it.
live tweet party.
Whoa.
Calling you out,
Getting in
Grant.
trouble. He's like,
I have
Totally.
pictures. He was there, no tweeting.
he went through enough this season, I guess.
Right?
I heard last week he's living in a crack house. Okay, things aren't going well with Grant. Let's be nice.
What exactly is this crack house? That was so funny. Like you're like, can you please explain this?
He's working on his deck.
Yeah.
And also, I would love to hear all your guys' predictions on what you think happened with this cliffhanger. So tweet us. We always read the comments on YouTube. Tell us all your wildest stories on YouTube, and the writers might be watching too. But anyways, this has been my favorite season so
too.
far.
Oh, good.
Me too.
My
We thought it was
absolute
really good
favorites,
too, and I'm
yes.
glad you guys liked it too. I think that we really nailed it on. We just had interesting stories all around. I think.
Definitely.
Pat on the back to us. I can
Yes.
say we're proud of it.
Shout out to all you guys.
Yeah.
It
Yes,
was
The whole
all
cast
the
and
writers.
writers.
We have so many
cast,
great
writers,
writers.
crew,
And our
everything.
directors and our cast is amazing. We love you guys and our crew, and they do so much with so little money. It's
and-
so great.
It's so
Awesome.
it was
Yeah.
by far the best, I think, and I'm so sad it was only 10 seasons, but
10 episodes.
episodes.
It's too bad because this year, like I said, we totally could have done 13.
so
We
much
totally
more.
could have done 13.
I would have loved
so.
to see a lot more.
And we thank y'all, like the writers and everyone for watching us and supporting us because you also entertain the fans and they see you. So it's been a great. We didn't do season 1, but it's been a great three years.
Yeah,
This
it's
panel,
crazy.
so-
Well, let's
Aw,
say
so
that we're going to come back
gonna
for
keep
season
coming
5.
back. Yeah,
we're going to be here. I'll
exactly.
come back. I'll tease you. I'll be like, you're never going to guess this mystery.
I know, right? I will be thinking the wrong person. I'll say something. Well, where can everyone find you again while we wait for season 5?
Curtis Kheel, you can find me at Curtis Kheel on Twitter or Instagram.
And you can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Laila Sadny.
You can find me on Insta, Snapchat, Twitter, Candy Buen.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, XOXOCESCA. Thank you guys for being here all season with us. you included.
Yeah.
First and last episode, and you ladies for being here with us. All right, we love it. We love you guys. We'll see you next season, season 5.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz. See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.